Hey guys, hope you all had a good Thanksgiving so far. I know people are still celebrating it this weekend. But I wanted to come on here and, talk about this because, apparently, you know, this Continental Classic that Tony Khan is putting on in AEW, which consists of two leagues, a gold and a blue league, seems to be getting some mixed reactions. Now, most of the reactions out of these mixed reactions have been positive. Some like the idea that, hey, we got a G1 like tournament here in the US. And that's a nice compliment. I mean, New Japan has been known to have these G1 climax tournaments for who knows how long, with the winner usually getting a shot at the world title at the end. And that's kind of what we're getting here. We're getting, two separate leagues instead of blocks, where the winner of the blue league will face the winner of the gold league. And the winner of that will get a shot at the AEW championship. But like I said, it's getting some criticism. And that criticism, I think, is due to the fact that it's either lack of star power, it's either a lack of star power, or what it is just that it's another desperate move by Tony Khan to get people to watch Dynamite and Collision and Rampage. And, you know, as I've said many times, people have a right to their opinions. You want to feel that way, that's fine. You want to feel that Tony Khan is just doing this to, get people to watch the shows. You got a right to believe that if you feel it's a desperation move. If you feel it's a lack of star power or whatever, that's fine too. That's your opinion. But here's the thing. Tony Khan, you know, Tony Khan is doing um, whatever it takes. He's doing whatever it takes to prove AEW is different from WWE. And one of the ways he's doing that is by basically saying, hey, I'm going to put on our own little G1 climax and, go from there. And maybe make it a Thanksgiving, holiday season tradition. And that's a good direction to go in if you're Tony Khan. But again, the criticism it gets, is, like let's say from the lack of star power is, okay, who's going to believe Daniel Garcia is going to win? Who's going to believe Jay White's going to win? Who believes Brody King is going to win? And so on and so forth. Or like, where's the story tie-ins that you could make, or that you could put into this tournament that could really make it interesting? So I understand that criticism. Don't get me wrong, but if he wants to do this, and especially if he wants to do it because, let's say, he doesn't want to risk sending Brian Danielson, who's a part of this, who's part of this tournament. Let's say he doesn't want to risk sending Brian Danielson over to Japan for weeks on end to be part of their climax, their G1 climax. If this is one way to say, hey, I can't chance you going over there, so I'll do something identical here for you, and all that, then so be it. So be it. Um, Now, there's also criticism at the fact that some people feel that this tournament should be utilized for people like a Garcia and a Brody King and a Jay White to, and anybody else, on that level that doesn't really get a chance to be in the main event, be part of the upper echelon of talent. And it should be the talent that has been regulated to Rampage, regulated to Collision, regulated to Dynamite, on the low to mid card status. You know, it should be it should be them that's focused on in this tournament. It should be them that's part of this tournament. And again, people have a right to what they want to feel. They do. If they believe that you shouldn't have established names like a Danielson or a Claudio or a Moxley in there, and instead you should have the people that are the future of your company, the future of this business, as the focal point, and that's fine. Again, that's your decision, to feel that way. That's your decision to feel that way. You know, I don't blame you. I don't really blame you or anything. Um, but to me, I think this is just Tony Khan, in my opinion, trying to, and I'm not saying just to kiss up to Tony or anything like that, but I think he's just another way to distinguish himself as being a different kind of, wrestling sports entertainment company. That he's willing to take inspiration from other companies like New Japan and say, hey, we're going to do our own G1 climax. We're going to have our best talent featured in it, which is a mixture of established, epichelon, and up and coming. We're gonna have our best talent that's been on a roll so far that people are talking about be part of this to see who's gonna get that shot. And I think that's good. I think that's great. I think that's great that they're doing that. Because sometimes a wrestling company, if you want to succeed with your WWE or AEW, sometimes you need to take inspiration from your competitors and what they do to try to succeed. And for AEW right now, they're still kind of in the infancy. They're getting into that, I guess you could say that grade school like era, if you will. Basically, they're starting to get into that halfway point or half a decade like era, next year. Because next year will be 5 years since they started. So they're getting to that point where it'll be half a decade since they've been around. So now they need to start finding out, okay, what match types can we focus on to make our own? What events, tournaments can we focus on to make our own that's inspired by others? They're getting at that point where they have to look at other companies, outside of their own. Like a New Japan, like maybe even a WWE or a AAA, and say, hey, we got to start focusing on the, we got to start taking inspiration from what they do, and blend it and make it our own thing to focus on and feature on a yearly, seasonal basis. So so to me, I think that's what Tony Khan is trying to do here. He's trying to take inspiration and hold on for a second. I check something. Okay. He's trying to take inspiration from New Japan and what they're doing with the G1 Climax and say, hey, we can do that here, but instead of calling it A block or B block or C block or whatever, I think they have like 4 blocks, that result in the winner of block A and C taking on the winner of block B and D or something like that, in the finals. So I think they're taking inspiration, saying, hey, instead of doing that, we'll have 2 leagues and the winner of each will face each other. And I think that's great. And over time, that's what they got to do. They got to take inspiration, put a little change here and there, make it their own, and go from there. So, honestly, I think it's a good idea. I think it's good, despite how you might feel about it. Whether you feel it's desperation to get people to tune in and watch, whether you feel it should be focused more on the future of the company than anything else. To me, I think it's a good move, and he's making it AEW's own by going the league route instead of the block route. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below.